Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, our dear students in grade 8 everywhere. From Kebede International School, we wish you all the best, and we'll be revising our syllabus as far as possible. We'll try to cover the most important grammar units as well as literature. Wish you all the best. We start with present simple tense. The tense that we use for everyday speaking, and we use when we want to express something that is repeated, a repeated action or a habitual action, as well as for expressing facts. As you know, in the present simple, the verb the subjects take the verb without additions or by adding es. When do we decide to use present simple tense? When we find words or adverbs like every, something that is repeated every day, every week, every month, or so. For example, we say, every day I go shopping. Every day you go shopping. Every day we go shopping. And every day they go shopping. When we have these subjects, the verb does not take any addition at the end. But when it appears subjects like he, she, or it, you need to add an s or an es to the end of the verb. We say, every day he goes shopping. Every day she goes shopping, or she goes to school. Every day it goes to school. It here refers to the school bus, for example. As we have mentioned before, negative forms are formed always by using helping verbs, especially when you have a main verb that is formed of one word like go or goes. You need a helping verb to make negative or a helping verb to make interrogative or question. How do I do that? For verbs that do not take s, we use the helping verb do. So we form negative by I don't go shopping. You don't go shopping. If you move to sentences like he goes to school, you make it negative by saying he doesn't go to school. Have you noticed? Doesn't go. Where has the s gone? Whenever you mention does, there's no need to put the s again. These are enemies. They cannot stay in the same sentence at all. So we say he goes to school. The negative form, he doesn't go to school. She goes to school. She doesn't go to school. It goes to school. It doesn't go to school. Then, for the interrogative form, the rule says helping verb, subject, verb. What is our helping verb? Our helping verb for the present simple is either do or does. If I have a sentence like I go shopping and I want to make it interrogative, I say, do I go shopping? When you have sentences like she goes to school, so you want to make it interrogative, you say, does she go to school without s again. Remember that always in the negative and interrogative, when you introduce your helping verb, you do not need again to put the s at the end of the verb. So again, present simple is used with repeated actions, with habits, okay? or with facts. Facts like what? We have mentioned the word facts here. Facts like when I say the sun rises in the east. All of us know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So rises and sets are mentioned in present simple. Again, when you talk about a scientific fact, like water, for example, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So whenever you want to mention facts, you use present simple. Adverbs that come with present simple are like every day, every week, every month, always, usually, often, sometimes, or anytime expression that can give the meaning of repetition, like annually, once a year, twice a month, or any time or adverbial expression that would give the impression of something that is repeated. I hope it's clear. And we move to the next slide. Present continuous. We are still talking about present now. But what type of present? It is present that is used with continuous actions or actions that take place at the time of speaking. What do I mean? Things that are happening right now or at present or today, like what we have here on this nice list. Now, at this moment, what's taking place now? What's happening now? Today. Or when you want to talk about something that's happening soon, in a very short time. I say, I'm going to school now. I'm listening to an English revision now. He is doing a test at this moment. They are studying for their exams at present. You are going to have your tests soon. Of course, you are going to have your tests in the few coming days. So we are moving to a new house today. Now it also comes or is used when you have expressions that attract your attention. Like when someone says, look. When he says look, he is attracting your attention to something that's taking place now. So when I say, for example, look, Muhammad is running in the yard. Or when I say, be careful. When someone says be careful, he's attracting your attention, yeah? For what? For something that's taking place at this moment. So be careful. The ladder is falling. Okay? Again, we have, shh, the baby is sleeping. Okay? So you use it with such expressions or such words, we use present simple. If you notice here, we have this ing at the end of the verbs. And we use helping verbs in advance. We use is, are, or am. And all of you know when to use each, I guess. Now, whenever you have a helping verb in a sentence, life becomes easy. In order to make it negative, you just add the word not at the tail of the helping verb, and this makes pretty the negative. I'm going to school, I'm not going to school now. He is doing a test at this moment, he isn't doing a test at this moment. They are studying for the exams at present, they aren't studying for the exams at present. And similarly, to form the interrogative or question form, you just apply the rule. Helping verb jumps before. I am going to school now. Am I going to school now? This is the question. Am comes where? At the beginning. He is doing a test at this moment. Is he doing a test at this moment? So this applies for all of these, and I hope it's clear. Remember, present continuous tense is used when you are talking about something that is taking place at the time of speaking, or something that when you find these adverbs now, or at this moment, at present, today, soon, or after these expressions. I hope it's clear and straightforward. You will see some special uses for the present continuous to express future when you move ahead. Our third tense here is the present perfect. We are still talking about present. What does it mean, present and perfect? Whenever students find this word perfect, they think about something that has happened in the past. When we use present perfect, it is something that has happened in a past tense but has a relation with the present. That's why it's called present perfect. And if you look at the way it is formed, it tells you clearly that it is something that had happened in a past time but has a relation with the present time. For example, when you want to talk about something that has just happened, or something that is already done, or something that you couldn't do up to now, you are struggling and you are trying. So it has something to do with the past and kind of relation with the present time. I have never been to Port Sudan. Okay, we have words like never. This word is used sometimes with the present simple and sometimes with the present perfect according to the meaning. I have never been to Port Sudan. Present perfect is formed using have or has as helping verb plus the past participle of the verb. Our verb in the sentence is be. So we put have and the past participle be, was or were, been. The past participle is been. So it is formed using have or has plus the past participle of the verb. You have the word never. I have never been to Port Sudan. You have already done it. Here we have this word already. It tells us that we have to use present perfect. You have already done it. Have already done it. They have not gone to school for 3 months. They have not gone to school for 3 months. We haven't written the composition up to now. Hamid has never seen an elephant. Aya has been in our school since 2008. Now I would like to stop a little with the two words since and for and the use of them. You use the word since when you are mentioning the date on which you have done that action. For example, here we have Aya has been in our school since 2008. Since 2008 up to now, Aya is in our school. If I want to write or rephrase this sentence, I would say, Aya has been in our school we are in 2020. She joined our school in 2008. So these are 12 years. I can say Aya has been in our school since 2008, or Aya has been in our school for 12 years. For plus time is used with present perfect. For plus time. For 2 weeks, for a month, for 2 days, for 8 years, for 12 years, these are all used with present perfect. If you notice here, never was used to form negative without not. Now, these adverbs of the present perfect have special uses. Up to now also is mentioned at the end of the sentence. Words like just, already, and never come in between the helping verb and the past participle. This is something that you need to take in consideration while you are writing. Also, we say we have taken breakfast. We have taken breakfast since 7 a.m. in the morning. Now, when it comes to make negative with not, if we have a helping verb, life is easy. You just put the not at the end of the helping verb. You have done it. Now forget about already. You have done it. Negative, you haven't done it. You haven't done it. And now with the negative, I can use up to now instead of already. Now, if I want to make this sentence, Hamid has seen, forget about never. Hamid has seen an elephant. Hamid has seen an elephant. I can make it negative using never. Another way, I can make it negative using not. How? Hamid has not seen an elephant, or Hamid hasn't seen an elephant. This makes the negative pretty easy. Now, what about when we want to form the interrogative? Easily, if you have a helping verb, you put the helping verb at the beginning, subject here, and then you put your past participle. Have you seen Ahmed this morning? Has she ever been to Paris? This is how we form it. So again, we use it with just, already, up to now, yet, ever, never, since, and for. Ever is used with questions. I hope it is clear. We move to the future simple. Future simple is used to express something that's going to happen. Like when we have words like tomorrow, or something that's going to happen next month, next year, next Tuesday, or when you have in plus a date from the future, something that will happen in 2025, or something that's happening that will happen in the coming week. Coming, it has not come yet. Coming week, coming month. It is the same like next month. Or when you have 2 days after or 2 months later. The words after and later are also related with future. And lastly, when you say, for example, in dash time, like when you say in 2 days time, in 3 years time, this is also used to express something that will happen in future. Future is formed with shall or will plus the infinitive of the verb. I will go to school tomorrow. We will start our exams next week. All subjects in the future can use will, except I and we have an additional option. What is that additional option? I and we can use shall and can use will. Both are correct, both are right, and can be used. When you go to secondary, you will learn more and more about the uses of will and shall. But for I and we, I can use will or shall. But for the rest of the subjects, you just put will plus infinitive of the verb. You will be in secondary school next year. Sudan will export a lot of minerals in the coming years. Have you noticed this? In the coming years. Of course, our country is very rich with gold, minerals, and we hope that this will put us forward in the coming years. They will meet their friends in 10 days' time. Will meet. They will meet. Okay, revision classes will start 2 days after. So, as I mentioned, later, after are used with future. Now, note that when we want to abbreviate or short form will not to make or form the negative, will not is abbreviated won't, and shall not is abbreviated shan't. S-H-A-N apostrophe T, shan't. For example, I will go to school tomorrow. I won't go to school tomorrow. If you use shall, you say I shall go to school tomorrow. To make it negative, you say I shall go to school tomorrow. If I want to make interrogative, just put the helping verb first. I'll go to school tomorrow. Will you go to school tomorrow? I doubt during these coronavirus situations, but let us hope. Stay home, stay well. Anyway, you will be in secondary school next year. This is what I hope for all of you. So, will you be in secondary school next year? Inshallah. Here ends our future. Let us see what do we have next. Past simple tense. We use it to express something that happened in a past time, like something that has happened that happened yesterday or last week, last year, last month, and so on. We use it with the verb ago, with the adverb ago. Like when you talk about something that happened 2 days ago, 2 minutes ago, or 2 years ago. Something that happened 3 days before, or 3 days or 2 years before. Or when you mention a date in the past, like something that happened in 1990 or 1996. This is past time, yes? Okay. For the past simple, we add D or ED to regular verbs. And some verbs change their form and we call them irregular verbs. Like for example, for visit, the past tense is visited. I visited Muhammad yesterday. For the verb like, you simply add D. We liked the meal last Friday. Mom has prepared some porridge and tegeliya last Friday and you liked it, okay? So we like the meal. I usually like meals on Friday. They look different, yes? Not like the whole week. We liked the meal last Friday. She went to the doctor 2 days ago. Now look at this. Went is a past tense from the verb go. These verbs are called irregular verbs. They change their form. See becomes so. Go becomes went. Also here we have another example. He spent his last holiday in Dubai. Spent is the past tense from spend. When we want to make the negative, now here comes a very important point that most of you miss. Please remember, the helping verb for making negative and interrogative in the past simple tense is the word did. When we mention did in a sentence, it is usually followed by infinitive. Never put the ed again or put the past form again. These are enemies. They cannot stay together at all. This is unaccepted at all. So, for negative of I visited Muhammad yesterday, I say I did not visit Muhammad yesterday. Did not visit. Please have a look on this visit. It has no ed, not at all. Did not visit. We liked the meal. If you don't like asida, you say I didn't like the meal last Friday. She went to the doctor 2 days ago. If you want to make it negative, you say she didn't go to the doctor yesterday. We never say she didn't went. She didn't go. Remember always, she didn't go. Did is followed by infinitive, and this applies for the question. If you form the question with the helping verb at the beginning, this applies also that in the same sentence, don't put enemies together. So, did you visit Muhammad yesterday? I hope it's clear. And we move to past perfect. Now, many students ask, what is the use of this past perfect? And they confuse it. Now, present perfect is used with has and have. Remember, has and have are friends. We use past perfect when we are talking about two actions in the past. And I want to order them. I want to let my audience or my listener know which one of these two took place first. The one that happened first is written in the past perfect, and the other one is simply written in the past simple because both of them happened in the past. So, when two actions take place in the past, it here refers to this past perfect. Past perfect is used to show which one happened first. For example, when we arrived at school yesterday, the bell had already rung. This means we were late. What does the sentence mean? Which of these two actions happened first? We arrived at school and the bell had rung. From this sentence, The one that is mentioned in the past perfect is the one that took place first. Which of these actions is mentioned in the past perfect? Had rung. So the bell rang and later on we arrived at school. So this means that definitely that we were late. Ahmed had prepared the tools before he started painting the house. Ahmed did two things yesterday. He wanted to paint the house, to change the color. So he prepared some tools for painting and he started the process. So Ahmed had prepared the tools before he started painting the house. Had prepared first, then started. In number 3 we have, it had started to rain before we reached home. So we got wet. Why did we get wet? We had a shower. Why? Because we were on our way and it started to rain. So it started to rain before we reached home. That's why we got wet. Two actions. Reached happened, or the reaching happened after it started to rain. I hope past perfect is clear. For all subjects, we use the word had plus the past participle of the verb as it is clear here. Had rung, had prepared, had started. For all subjects. Whatever the subject is, you use had. I want you to take care and bear in attention something while you are solving your questions. Do not get mixed up whenever you have already, oh, this belongs to present perfect, and straight away you decide to put the verb in the present perfect. Don't do that. Be patient. Whenever a sentence is formed of two clauses or two parts, and it has two actions in the past, be very careful and think about it before you decide what tense to use. Okay, on we go. Past continuous. Was or were plus our verb with an ing at the end. Again, in this type of verbs, we have two actions in the past. But one of these actions took some duration, took time to happen. It's not something instant. It is something that took some time to happen. For example, when Rahaf was going to school, she met Selwa. Rahaf was going to school. This is something that was taking place. It was interrupted by meeting Selwa. So, when Rahaf was going to school takes more time than the prompt meeting. So, when Rahaf was going to school, she met Selwa. They were playing football while we were doing our history test. What do you notice in this sentence? Two INGs in one sentence? Yes. Two past continuous actions in one sentence. This is not weird. It is normal. Why? Because both actions take time. Playing football or playing a football match takes time, as well as doing a test. So both were long actions, and we have used continuous or past continuous in both of them. As I reached the cinema, my friends were looking for me. Here, I reaching, when the word reach or approach is used for a short action. It comes always in the past. And my friends were looking for me. They didn't find me, so they were looking for me. This is the long action. If you notice in these sentences, we have words like when, while, or as that join the two parts of the sentence together, and this can be used as a tool or a guide to help you that in this sentence, most probably you will need to use past continuous. I hope it's clear. In English, there are some rules for writing and some verbs that whenever they appear, they are followed by gerunds. What are gerunds in English? Your verb with ing without any helping verb before. And by the way, gerunds are nouns. Gerunds are nouns, they are not verbs. They are formed by INGs. Now, there are some verbs in English that are usually followed by ING or by gerunds, like the verb like, love, hate, dislike, enjoy, mind, okay, stop, start, and give up. To give up means to stop. For example, I like, what do you like? I like watching films. I like watching films. If I have a word here to add after the verb like, it is preferable in English that you add a gerund. This verb like is most of the times followed by a gerund. We love playing football, boys of course. You never lose any time or any moment to play football. Okay, she hates doing homework. She hates what? Doing homework. They enjoy eating pizza. I myself, I enjoy eating pizza. Would you mind closing the window? If you are cold, for example, you want to ask your friend a request to close the window. You say, would you mind closing the window? After this mind, you have to add a gerund. My uncle gave up smoking, luckily. Okay, goodwill. He stopped smoking. My uncle gave up, stopped smoking. Okay? So this is about verbs that are followed by gerund. Whenever they appear, like, love, hate, dislike, enjoy, mind, stop, start, or give up, what's coming is a gerund. Now we start another part. Conditional sentences. On condition that something happens, something else will take place. That's why they are called conditional sentences. And we refer to them as if one and if two sentences at your level. There are 4 types of conditional sentences. We have if 0, if 1, if 2, and if 3. You are asked to know well and to be familiar with if 1 and if 2. What do we use each one for? طيب, to start with, conditional sentences are formed of 2 parts. If you notice here, I put a note in red. Present simple versus future simple. Always bear in mind, when you want to express a condition in if 1, you use present simple versus future simple. Where and which? If you revise well, you will answer fully. Of course, if you revise well for your exams, your answers will be full, yes? A conditional sentence is formed of 2 parts. One of the parts, it is divided by a comma here. One of the parts is called the if clause. This is the part where you find the word if or the word unless. This is called if clause. And definitely the other part is known as the main clause. For if 1, the if clause is written in present simple. The main clause is written with future simple. Present simple completed with future simple. You use present simple for the if clause and you use future simple for the main clause. For example, if you revise well, you will answer fully. In the if clause, I have the verb revise. Because the subject is you, I did not add any s's or so. If you revise, what will happen if you revise well? The condition will be fulfilled. You will answer fully. In the main clause, I used future simple, will and infinitive only. If he finishes on time, we will play a game. In the if clause, I have the word or the verb finishes. Because the subject is he. What will happen if he finishes on time? We will play a game. So you complete the other part, which we call the future, the main clause with future simple. So the if clause has a verb finishes with an S, it is in the present simple. The main clause has will play, which is future simple. Very easy and straight away. Present simple with future simple. Now let us see, this is not the condition always, because it is not always that the if clause is mentioned at the beginning of the sentence. You might have sentences where the main clause is mentioned first and it is then followed by the if clause. If you notice with me in number 3, we won't go fishing if it rains. Definitely, if it rains, we won't go fishing. The sentence is written with the main verb at the beginning. No problem. If it is the main verb, it is written in future simple. Whether it comes at the beginning or comes at the end, if it is the main clause, it is written in future simple. The if clause is written in present simple. Rains. Can you see this S? It rains. So, present simple for the if clause. If the if clause is at the beginning or at the end, that makes no difference. If clause, present simple, main clause, future simple. We won't go fishing if it rains, or we shan't go fishing if it rains. As we mentioned in the future, shan't is short form for shall not. They will come to the party if you invite them. Now let us decide together, where is the if clause? They will come to the party if you invite them. Where is the if clause? Here it is. If you invite them. What will happen if you invite them? They will come to the party. Or they will come to the party if you invite them. Here is the if clause. The verb is in the present. They will come. Will come. What tense is this? Future. Why? Because this is the main clause. This is the main clause. This is the if clause. Again, here we have, we won't play unless you join us. The word unless, it means in English if not. So this is our if clause. You join us. Unless you join us. The verb here is clear. We won't play. We will not play. This is our main clause. And the verb is in the future simple. Unless you understand the question, you won't be able to answer it. Please, in exams, take your time to understand the question. All these exams are designed so that you have enough time for slow writers, for quick writers, all of you. The exams times are very, very well putting in consideration all levels of students, all rates. Don't rush. Please don't rush while you are answering. So, you need to understand the question before you start answering. Unless you understand the question, you won't be able to answer it. Unless, as we have mentioned, is the word if. So, unless you understand, this is present, you will not be able to answer the sentence. What I want to say, we use if one for possible normal conditions that can take place easily and normally in everyday life. In these if one sentences, we use present simple versus future simple. The second type of if that we are going to say is if two. If two sentences are used to express very difficult situations, very difficult to happen, or almost impossible to take place. How? For example, if I were you, I'd visit the doctor. Someone is sick and doesn't want to go to the doctor. You advise him. If I were you, I would go to the doctor. I cannot be you, and you cannot be me, physically or in any terms, yeah? So, this is a situation that is kind of arbitrary. You are just giving it as an example. If I were you, I would visit the doctor. This is something that is impossible to happen, so I express it using if two. How do we form if two? If two has a very easy, straightforward rule. Past simple versus would tense. Past simple, you know. Would tense is a tense that we use to call for putting the past tense of the will or the future. The past tense of will is would. The past tense of can is could. It is an auxiliary modal verb that is used to form this tense. And instead of can, you use could. Instead of shall, you use should. Instead of may, you use the verb might. So and they come with the infinitive of the verb. You say would go, could go, might go, or should go. طيب. We have past simple. Where do we use past and where do we use the would tense? We use the past simple in the if clause and we use the would tense for the main clause. For the if clause, if I were you, I would visit the doctor. But wait, I is singular. If I want to make past tense, for example, I am in grade 8 this year, I was in grade 7 last year. Usually I use the verb was for past tense with I. Why did I write were if I were you? And sometimes you can see if she were a bird. Is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. It is here to show you that this is something that's almost impossible to happen. Because it is impossible to happen, we are using were. If I were you, I would visit the doctor. Now, if she worked hard, she would succeed. If she worked hard, she would succeed. Worked is in the past tense and would succeed is the would tense that I told you. Would plus infinitive. If I were a bird, are you a bird? Can you ever be a bird? This is something impossible, but it is a wish, okay? If I were a bird, I wouldn't stop flying. Where? In the if clause, past simple. In the main clause, would tense. Here you have it in the negative form, wouldn't stop. He could phone us if he took his mobile with him. Now look here, in this sentence, the main clause comes first and the if clause comes later. Where is the if clause? If he took his mobile with him. If he took his mobile with him. Took is in the past tense, the rule applies. In the main clause, I have to use the would tense. Here appears the word could plus the infinitive of the verb. So, he could phone us if he took his mobile with him. He did not take the mobile. Unfortunately, he did not take the mobile. That's why we used if to sentence. If you finished your job, you might go home. Your manager or your teacher or whatever says, if you finished your job, you might go home. Finished in the if clause, past tense. You might go, we said might is a past tense from may. So might go in the main clause. This is if one and this is if two here. I hope the difference in use is clear. Most important to decide is to look at the given part. Whenever you want to decide, just make sure you read well what is given so that you will continue the other part. As we said in if clause, in if one, you use present simple with future simple. In if two, you use past simple with would tense. So if I have present, I complete it with future. If I have past, I complete it with would tense. Now let us solve together this sample and I wish if you can screenshot it while you are watching, this would be very useful so that you can use it later. Underline the correct answer. We are given choices here. He always dash hard. You have the word always. So he always works hard. Please dash that noise. This is a command. In English, commands and imperative are used with infinitive. You say, please stop without any addition. Please stop that noise. We dash him tomorrow. Tomorrow reminds us of future. We shall meet him tomorrow. Who dash here yesterday? So, if we have yesterday, we are talking about something in the past. We are going to use came. Who came here yesterday? Number 5, we dash with our eyes. There is no adverb in this sentence to tell us the time, but try to think about it. We dash with our eyes. We are talking about saw, see, and seeing. We see with our eyes because this is a fact. Facts are written in present simple. Do you like? Do. This is a question that starts with do. It is a question in the present simple. Do they like حجلة or do they play حجلة? Do they play حجلة? With do we put infinitive. Cats, cats plural. Cats like milk. And you have a question. What is this? It starts with a sentence and ends with a question. This type of sentences is known as the question tags. They start in a sentence and then you ask for confirmation. So, cats like milk. What tense am I going to ask? If I have the verb like, then I'm talking about present simple. Cats are plural and I'm going to use they for the question tag. So, cats like milk. Didn't they? No, it is not didn't because there is nothing that shows past. Aren't they? I do not have continuous here. There is no R here. The right answer is don't they? Cats like milk. Don't they? Be quiet. When someone says shh or be quiet, this means he is attracting your attention and this is something that's taking place right now. So be quiet. I want to. Look here, be quiet. I want to. You have this here too. Don't rush and write and put reading because you have this be quiet. No, think about it. I want to read because to is always followed by infinitive. I want to read. I enjoy. This is one of our friends. You remember them? Like, love, enjoy. So, I enjoy reading stories. Muna dash help her mother yesterday. It is yesterday and you want to mention something negative in the past. In the past. What is the helping verb in the past? It is the word did. So you say Muna didn't help her mother yesterday. This is the first test. We have a number of tests I will put on the screen for 1 minute each. I hope you screenshot them and try to solve them so that you make sure you revise your tenses. Here is test 2. To live in the coming minutes as far as possible. We'll try our best to cover it quickly. Okay, about the story or about the author first. The Black Tulip. What is the Black Tulip novel about? It is about growing tulip flowers at that time. And who is the writer or the author? It is the French writer Alexander Dumas, very, very well known at that time. Where and when was he born? He was born in northern France in 1802. What was his father? His father was an important soldier or a general in the Napoleon's army. And why did Dumas go to Paris? Or when did he go to Paris? He went to Paris in 1823. Because he wanted to become a lawyer, but unfortunately he worked in a rich house. Dumas died on the 5th of December 1870 in northern France. Here we have some questions. Dumas's mother was a daughter of an innkeeper. True. Dumas didn't like good food, fine wine, and beautiful women. No, this is false. Number 3, Dumas was 68 years when he died. Yes, because he was born, as you see here, he was born in 1802 and he died at the age of 68. This is right. Now, choose the correct answer. Dumas wrote novels and historical Of course, historical plays. Dumas owed money to many people. Now we have a note about the story itself. This story happened very long ago, between the years 1671 to 1675. And it was talking about two brothers, John and Cornelius DeWitt. The two brothers, as you see here, the two brothers lived in The Hague. What were the two brothers? They were officials in the government of the Dutch Republic, the Republic of Holland, that we call now Holland or Netherlands. Netherlands belonged to two countries. What were they? It belonged to the Spanish Netherlands and the Dutch Republic, or the Republic of the Seven States. Now we have here, there were 7 states in that republic, and today we call it Holland or Netherlands. The capital of the 7 states was The Hague, and there were a lot of problems, and there was a war. What caused the troubles in 1970s? That many people wanted a new ruler. The ruler was called the stadtholder, and people wanted to change the ruler. Unfortunately, the two brothers were murdered or killed in the street by the angry people near The Hague prison. When did William the prince became the stadtholder? He took place of the government in 1672. Which two countries were in war with the Republic of the Dutch? It was France and England. They were not friends with the Dutch Republic. From where was the first tulip brought? It was brought from Turkey in 1571, and usually they used to plant the tulips in winter. Many people wanted a new ruler. True or false? Yes, that's true. There were battles on land and in ships. True. John and Cornelius DeWitt wanted a new stadtholder. This is false. William became king of England, Scotland and Ireland. This is true, after he married the English princess. Stories, songs and poems were written about tulips. This is right. Tulip flowers are only one color. No, they are found in different colors, but the challenge was to grow a black one. Okay, this story was about Netherlands in the 1670s, between 1671 to 1675. The Dutch Republic was often called the Seven States. Cornelius and John DeWitt were against the French king and against Prince William. Now, the DeWitt brothers were put in prison. The French army fought, the French army fought the English, and tulip flowers are in different colors. I'm trying to cover as much as possible. You have here, the story was talking about growing a black tulip. And there was a prize of 100,000 guilders that was given to grow the prize. We have Cornelius Van Baerle and Cornelius DeWitt. Where did Cornelius Van Baerle and Isaac Boxtel live? They lived in the town of Dort. Cornelius was about 25. Cornelius Van Baerle was 25 years old. He liked growing tulips very much. What was the drawing room? At that time, there was something known, very important in the story to know what is a drawing room. The drawing room was a special room with big windows for keeping bulbs in summer. What will Cornelius do with the prize? If he gains the prize, he will give half of it, which is 500,000 guilders, to the poor of Dort. He himself was a rich man. Were Cornelius and Isaac friends? They were neighbors, but not friends. I hate Cornelius Van Baerle. Who said that? It was Isaac, and he was talking to himself. Who was the best tulip grower in Dort before Cornelius came? It was Isaac Boxtel. That's why he felt jealous of Cornelius. Why did Isaac Boxtel buy a telescope? He bought a telescope to watch his neighbor and spy on him. Okay. We have a package that was given, if you remember, Cornelius Van Bell was at his house, and who visited him? His guardian, Cornelius DeWitt, visited him. So Cornelius DeWitt visited Cornelius Van Bell at his house. And what was the DeWitt? The DeWitt was a very important man. He was an official for the government of the 7 states. What is John DeWitt? His brother. His brother was the leader of the government of the 7 states. Okay, what was the capital city of the 7 states? It was The Hague. Did Cornelius DeWitt own a house in The Hague? Yes. Who was the guardian of Cornelius Van Bell? Cornelius DeWitt was, because his father died. What was Cornelius DeWitt interested in? He was very, very much fond of and interested in politics. What was Cornelius Van Bell interested in? Our young friend was much interested in growing tulips, but his guardian was interested in politics. How did Isaac Boxtel watch out Cornelius? We mentioned that he watched him through his telescope. And where did the two men, Cornelius Van Bell and Cornelius DeWitt, were? They sat in the drawing room. What did Isaac see Cornelius give to the young man? He saw Cornelius DeWitt giving Cornelius Van Bell a package. Okay, did the young Cornelius open the package? No, he didn't open it. He put it in a drawer in the drawing room. Isaac saw the two men, but he couldn't hear them. Yes, because he was using a telescope. This is right. The young Cornelius was interested in the package. No, he wasn't. Now, Isaac thought that there were secrets in the package. Young Cornelius was interested in tulips. Old Cornelius was interested in politics. The DeWitt brothers lived in Hague, and in the young Cornelius's room, the lights were from candles at that old time. In the Hague prison, were the DeWitt brothers friends of the French King Louis XVI? No, they were not. Sorry, the DeWitt brothers were friends of the French king, and whom did the people of the 7 states want as a leader, and why? At that time, the people did not want the DeWitt brothers because they were friends of the French king. So they wanted Prince William, who was a young man, to be he was young and strong. So the people there wanted him as a king. Take Cornelius to the Hague prison. Who said this? These were the angry people. What did the people want to do with Cornelius DeWitt? They wanted to torture him. Did Cornelius tell the soldier about his plan? No, he didn't. You and your brother John are bad men. Who said this? It was the judge. What was the name of the old jailer at the Hague prison? His name was Griffiths. How old was Griffiths' daughter? Griffiths, she was 17 years old, and her name was Rosa. Why must the Cornelius brothers leave quickly? Because they were in danger, and of course Rosa helped them to escape through the small gate. I hope that you get use of this, and wish you revise well and get ready for your exams. And we all here wish you all good luck.